Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, Internet. You're watching the Non-Pro TV Party Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap show. I'm your host, Frank, joined not at all in studio by James, Katie, and Matt. Hi, James, Katie, and Matt.
Hello.
Hi, Frank.
Was that a Mr. Handy, James?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, very good. On Non-Pro's TV Party, we do 90s South Park references. And we also do a live Google Plus Hangout series where we geek out about our favorite television shows. We invite you all to join along. We're not just geeking out about TV, we are recapping it.
Just because South Park aired during the 90s, the dark times of television, doesn't mean we can't reference it.
I think maybe it does. I think officially that reference cannot be made anymore. So this is our big season finale recap show for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3. We haven't done a show since about the mid-season premiere. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has gone through a lot of different weird and wacky...
Uh-oh.
We've lost Frank.
Lose me as a broadcaster or lost me as a listener? Like, am I not broadcasting on Google Plus anymore, or did you?
You're back.
Oh, okay, cool. So I was actually talking about being lost as a watcher of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There were a couple of like really weak episodes in the middle, but I think it did end strong. I'm curious to know what you three dorks feel about the show, and then maybe we'll go into. I think definitely we will go into details because otherwise, why the hell are we doing this? So, James, I'll cut to you. What did you think of Season 3, or at least the back half of Season 3?
Don't get me wrong, I liked it. I still really enjoy watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It definitely wasn't perfect in this back half. There were definitely some plots and some things that I didn't like, or so they were sneaking in there that weren't so great. A couple of the episodes were a little middling. But I certainly wouldn't say it's like as boring or as bad as S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1. And there was some stuff I really liked in there. I really liked the what do you call the episode where Daisy kind of sees the future. I feel like it was the closest S.H.I.E.L.D. ever got to kind of breaking the format of its own show, really kind of trying to do something different with the characters it's given, kind of doing a bit of a different formula in a way. So there was still stuff that I really enjoyed in there.
Pass it to somebody else, James.
Matt, what about you?
I'll also agree that there were some ups and downs for Season 3 overall, but I still think it was more ups than downs, and the ups were very high. And ironically, like Season 1, I think the show really picked up when one of the good guys turned evil, sort of.
Yeah, all right. I just realized. Yeah, all right. Good on you.
One thing, I guess a quick thing that I really liked from this back half was kind of like a meta thing, how there's a lot of controversy and discussion and arguing about how superhero shows or shows based on comic book properties, that kind of thing, deal with character death and killing off characters. And I really, really liked how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of took that concept and used it to their advantage to make something that's both entertaining but also messing around with their audience.
Agreed. Katie, what do you think?
I have to agree with everyone else. It definitely wasn't the best S.H.I.E.L.D., but there were some episodes that were just really good, and it wasn't the worst, it wasn't the best, but I'm just gonna watch next season.
I feel like a lot of us are saying it wasn't the worst, wasn't the best, but I don't think any of us are saying it was averaged. You know, like it wasn't like, oh, it's a good show, it's on, it's popcorn, I don't care. When it's the best, when it's good, it really was good. There are some really strong episodes in Season 3. A few of the things I watched a lot of genre TV and a lot of superhero shows, and I feel like at some point, despite the fact that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is probably bar none the best production quality of all the shows that are out there, and I do think I'll stand by that. I know there are fans of other shows who watch this recap series and hate me for that, but at production quality alone, I never see a putty fight, right? They're not a bunch of Power Rangers fake kickboxing some people in horrible masks, and they fall down on a stage set. Except that one time it happened this season.
I was gonna say they got kind of close.
we may have got, but the Scottish doctor whose name I don't recall, the latest Scottish doctor in the cast, Scottish mad scientist. Also, Peter Capaldi, please guest star on a few episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just let's round it out.
As a doctor.
And it as well. We'll get everybody. But no, like that was a little silly, but like it was sandwiched in really good storytelling and like character pieces. When the show is funny, the jokes are funny. They land, and they do. There's a lot of little quirky bits here and there that work. I don't hate Bobby and Hunter. I was a little less interested in their storyline than I think people may have wanted me to be, like the producers would have wanted. On the other hand, Mac and his brother, I kind of was digging that, despite the fact that I could not care less about the Watchdogs, which is interesting because that's a story that comes right out of the comics, sort of. The Watchdogs are apparently an actual comic group. So it's a big mixed bag on the back end of the season, but a lot of highlights. Does anyone want to bring up a specific thing that they've been dying to share on the Hangouts? Do we want to talk about the time jump episode and how it changed the pace of the show and what the show does? I think that's pretty interesting.
You mean the time jump at the end or the time jump?
No, the whole arc and the back end of the season.
About the vision?
There was an Inhuman that showed Daisy what the future is. And we kind of knew what was going to happen before it was all going to happen. I think that does a very interesting thing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
We lost Frank again.
Just go.
Go.
Yeah, talk
That's all
things.
we got.
Okay.
James, you go. Make the words.
I mean, I guess for things I really particularly liked, like I said, I really liked the what do you call the
time
episode,
jump?
Yeah, not the time jump at the end. The episode. Well, I guess.
Let me try this again because I think we're going to go around in circles.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about is how the time jump in that earlier episode where we saw how the season was going to end
The
changes the way
premonition.
storytelling works.
James.
Yes, I really liked that episode. I thought it was interesting. I think it was interesting. It gave us something to. I enjoyed it and was both a little disappointed with it. I thought its use of foreshadowing and kind of the way it was kind of pushed the show forward, particularly with kind of teasing that major character death, as it were, was a really interesting idea to kind of.
I love the fact that everybody stopped to read what I left in the chat. Our reading comprehension is terrible. Oh my
I
god!
have my glasses on.
There's a moment where everyone is like,
It did a great job of propelling the show forward, which is something that if you'd seen kind of some of the comments that some of the cast and crew were making about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season, it really didn't tie itself into the movies in any way, into Civil War or anything like that, because they're feeling kind of abandoned as far as the larger Marvel universe is concerned. And I think this show really works to propel itself forward without kind of the use of the movies, which has been a big crutch, particularly obviously in season 1, which is I think really what that episode did. Well, kind of getting to experiment with the way S.H.I.E.L.D. does storytelling. I feel like then they kind of dropped the foreshadowing until the very, very end episode when it was all of a sudden it's like, who's got the necklace? Instead of they could have played with that maybe a little bit more and made us a little more nervous in some other episodes. But
They didn't need to make us any more nervous. The second Fitz put that necklace in the pocket, I was like, I'm leaving the room. I need to go to bed. I'm not watching.
But I meant through a couple of earlier episodes. Like, I guess Mac had the necklace when Mac and Daisy had their confrontation, right? So at one point I was worried that Mac was gonna.
I'm with Katie on the cross hot potato, which I think somebody in our fan club referred to it as the cross hot potato or the Jesus hot potato, and I really like the fact that that's. I think Matt also said that if you're genre savvy and you're watching this, we're bearing the lead with Fitz and Simmons and their relationship being the best part of not only season 3 but of all television ever. And when Fitz had the cross, I also wanted to leave the room and the planet. I was like, that's it, I'm done.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, like I mentioned before, I really loved how in the finale, they really played with viewers' expectations and um, what they were thinking, what they wanted to believe, with Cross Hot Potato, but also like just in general, they kind of like fit in a lot of kind of like genre television or genre fiction, like death flags. Like we have Fitz and Simmons planning on a vacation. We have let's see, Mac. I think Mac wanted to like I forgot what Mac wanted to do something, which kind. Oh yeah, Mac and kind of like Yo-Yo, like their relationship, like that seemed to be like going somewhere. Um,
Mhm.
Also with Daisy wanting to redeem herself because of her being under Hive's control and wanting to do whatever it takes to be for redemption and making things up to the team. So not just the cross, but like just like the whole entire finale is kind of like a minefield
Yeah.
of what's going to happen next, which I really enjoyed.
And I think you do a great job of building for that when you give the viewers something they've been waiting for forever, which is the Fitzsimmons relationship. I was so smitten. I think it's adorable. I love it.
The
Anybody want to talk about that?
the Fitzsimmons super spy scene
Oh,
was
so
just
good.
wonderful when they're sneaking into that bar and trying to be cool.
Yeah, they're playing cool and sexy. They play with their comms. It's
Mhm.
really the whole thing is very adorable and really realistic. Like it's realistic. It's I like that they have a kind of awkward relationship, but they're going to make it work because why the hell wouldn't they make it work? Like they're really compatible. Why shouldn't they at least try? And I do enjoy the fact that we haven't landed yet into any trope where it's like, oh, our relationship is doomed. They reference it, they're aware of it, but they're not going to fall into it.
I
James?
think the only thing I'm worried about is something that they were sneaking into the last couple of episodes, is they're giving Fitz this sort of cocky, well, I was always the better one at this thing. They've done it like 2 or 3 times. Every time they do it, I'm like, oh, I hate that. This is totally not something he ever did with Gemma. Now why that they're in a relationship or so that's my only thing. Hopefully they'll have heard enough of, hopefully they listen to the show. Take that out. Don't give me that. Literally, as you're saying, Frank, it's the best thing on the show right now is their relationship. Don't ruin
James
it just to
James is
make
about to
Fitz
call
talk.
them up. Explain.
We should
Listen,
filmmakers out there, writers, producers, television executives, we can have one good relationship. It will not. It does not destroy drama. Give us one fun thing to watch. It's fine. Their relationship does not have to be the core of every plot line. We're good. Just let it be okay. Doesn't even have to be wonderful. Just okay. We're good. We are. I don't want to go too long, and we're running out of time.
Oh.
But I do want to talk about like things that we wish would happen in the future, or things we were really excited about, and specifically, I do want to talk about Ward slash Hyde.
I was gonna say, can I talk about 2 things about that ending? I guess maybe we can jump it into Ward/Hive.
Go for it.
And so first off, I guess I'm happy that Lincoln's gone. I don't know. I've had a middling relationship with Lincoln. Like I feel like the actor's like trying super hard, but I just don't relate to him. And so I was kind of like, okay, good. I'm kind of glad we're done with Lincoln. I loved that in the end of part 1 of part 2 where Daisy goes to after Hive and we think she's gonna fight him, and she's totally like take me back. That was amazing. That was just so perfect. And I really liked the ending with Ward and Lincoln kind of in space, kind of sitting there, you know, and Lincoln's kind of like, oh, well, why don't you, you know, you can try to take me over or whatever, and the Ward or the monster or whatever is kind of like, you know, Death is kind of like, you know, we already have this connection, you know, we're going to die here together, and, you know, how many people have seen this view and kind of experienced this moment the way it is. And I'm like, oh man, that's the type of fake deep crap I love.
Crap. Katie or Matt, do you have anything you want to add to that? I agree with you, James. It was a good scene.
I was gonna say Lincoln. I felt was kind of like the safe choice.
Yeah.
Because like because a lot of like most of the viewers had a better connection with the rest of the cast. But I do think that in the end, the writers did actually a really good job on making Lincoln likable, and actually kind of like fitting his whole entire his struggles with Daisy's struggles and like their connection through there. I thought like the talk between them at the end, well, like between Daisy and Lincoln about like him comparing his struggles with alcoholism with Daisy recovering from Hive's control. I thought that scene was actually really good, and obviously the scene at the end. But interesting to note. Like I remember reading there was an interview with the actor who plays Lincoln, and while like to us it seems like it was okay, it was a safe choice to kill Lincoln since like he wasn't the fan favorite. But it was actually kind of interesting that the two people that died at the end were the straight white male love interests to the main heroine.
Yeah.
Which
Actually, I didn't think about it like that.
which I thought like it was like in like if you from a broader sense, it was actually kind of a neat risk. You might want to say like it was different than what you usually see on genre television.
Someone in our fan club said that Rachel in our fan club said that do not date Sky if you want to survive or not be in jail, which I find is interesting.
So here's my question: how are we bringing Brett Dalton back next season?
I was just gonna say that.
Katie, go.
Just like appreciate Brett Dalton's iteration of like these technically three characters he's played on this show. I'm gonna be sad not to see another one come out next year.
You're right. I agree. As far as Lincoln is concerned, I do think he was a character that did find his place. Luke Mitchell played Lincoln. I think he was an interesting character. I think he was important to bring Inhumans kind of a culture behind them. The idea of every Inhuman has a purpose, and I think there are a lot of big strokes painted with that character. I do think he was the easy choice to kill off, but I think they did a great job of making that easy choice something that fit narratively, as opposed to some other shows which would kill off a beloved character just to say, hey, we're gritty and real, which is unsatisfying.
I thought they totally did that with Yo-Yo. I was ready to flip, but
The only reason I was ready to flip out when Yo-Yo got shot was because I felt like the universe has crapped on Mac this entire season.
Yes, true. There are a couple things I do want to bring up. First, big story arc. Powers Booth and Malik, and the entire motivation for Hydra on moving to the other world and bringing Hive over. In fact, Malik's motivation in general, that is expert villain writing. Like, it made perfect sense. He was raised in a religion, found out his father was kind of not true to the religion, and was forced to either decide faith or save himself. And threw his brother under the bus. The entire story arc, that flashback episode, I thought was brilliant. Because suddenly the tenting your fingers crazy maniacal villain stuff he was doing actually made perfect sense. In a way, he was trying to get his brother back. That is mind-blowing to me. I thought that was some of the best writing I had ever seen on television, and on the show, certainly. I don't know if you guys agree with that or think it was terrible, but it was one of my favorite scenes, that episode, with getting sort of a context to why I'm a big supporter of good villain writing. I only want to follow up villains that are interesting, and this guy went from cartoon to, oh man, I totally get it.
No, definitely. I mean, between Malik and Cal, Agents of Shield,
Mhm.
like knocks it out of the park with fantastic villains and
Yeah.
like making like having the viewers like understand. I really loved Malik's like relationship with his daughter, like how he really loved him. Like his daughter wasn't just like, oh, she's just another pawn. Like he like really honestly cared and wanted the best for her.
Hmm.
And and yeah, but like yeah, like you said, and like kind of like her finding out that he uh he was also kind of like a fraud.
Right.
Like her father was a fraud. I honestly felt bad for the guy, like
Yeah.
for as much as you can for a villain. Like
Yeah.
I
It's always
genuinely
cool to
felt
be
bad.
able to sympathize with the villain.
Right. And I think what's even more important is like, really look at what Malik had done beforehand. It seemed ridiculous. Why would you want to bring Satan back? There's no, like, the whole he'll give us power. Yeah, maybe. But like,
But-
you have to be completely genre blind to not know that there's risks.
Well,
But
and as kind of the evil thing mentions, it's not like he didn't have power already. He's like
Right.
incredibly powerful.
but the idea of he did what he had to do to survive before sending his brother to the other world, and then did what he had to do to bring that notion of his brother back. Very interesting. And the fact that Hive's motivation was partially human, he wanted to get back and show them what for. I thought that was wonderful. Moving on with Hyde and Ward, the one thing that I thought we were going to get towards the end of the finale, moving on to the finale itself, is when they used the brain scrambling device, when they used Tahiti to sort of make all of Hive's memories come up and scramble them. Genius plotting once again. I love it when Chekhov's gun goes off, and this is Chekhov's gun from earlier seasons, right? That's awesome. But I really had hoped, and it's the one thing that I found lacking, was that we were going to get Ward at the end of the season.
Yes.
I
Ward,
wanted a ward closure.
yeah, and I really thought that's what was happening. In a way, I think it was. I think when he's in the hallway arguing with the Inhumans, talking to people, I think it's Ward like the Ward persona is moving up to the foreground. It's confusing Hive and his goals, and it eventually helped out. But I wanted Ward. Because I think Brett Dalton, a great actor, I think his portrayal of the characters are interesting. But as much as Hive is sort of interesting, Ward is the character we've been following for 3 years. I wanted to give him a chance, and I really thought we were going to get this. I thought Ward was going to be the one who saves the group by flustering Hive. Because Ward's motivation would never be in favor of Hive, not really. He still wants to prove that he's the good guy. And I don't think he would have proved he was a good guy, but he would have proved he was a useful guy doing what needed to be done. And I really thought that's what we were going to get. I thought Ward was going to be the one that stymies Hive just long enough for them to win. In reality, it seemed like he was part of it, but not quite. It wasn't literal. It wasn't like Ward came forward. That's something I found lacking. I'm excited about next season, though. The teasers for what's coming up seem excited, and honestly, Coulson isn't even director anymore. What's
No.
that about? Yeah, I'm cool. LMDs are coming. All of it sounds good. What do you guys think about the finale and the teaser? James.
I mean, the teaser to me was like crazy. Like I'm like, bam, time jump. Always a good sign, right? It means you're gonna shake things up whenever you do a time jump. Nothing's gonna stay the same. Nobody jumps 6 months and is like, look, everything's the same.
I've
Although
run
I
role
wanna
playing
do
games
that
like that.
now. I just want to throw somebody for a loop. So I think that's neat. It's interesting that kind of Daisy is kind of there, is kind of like working against them, but she probably might have taken on a bit more of like a superhero persona. It looks like she's going around doing good and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just curious. I want questions answered, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more questions before we get a lot more answers.
Matt?
Yeah, I kind of like how the direction they're going with Daisy going rogue. I mean, I find it maybe it was just frustration, but I really honestly found it interesting that Chloe Bennett like had a did an interview where she basically like kind of like popped off about how the Marvel movies wasn't really integrating with the television show, and so I'm wondering if that was just like some kind of bit of PR to like kind of hint that like the movies are gonna start incorporating the show or vice versa, or it's like kind of like a call to action or something. Um,
I
but I'm
think
interested to see what direction they go. And I gotta say, like considering everything that has happened, like if they can't go connect with the movies, they should connect with the other properties. So
Yeah.
I want a Daisy Johnson, Jessica Jones team up like yesterday.
Woo!
Mhm.
Have them be PTSD buddies. Um,
so
and the
Katie?
I do want some more connection.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. That'd be cool. Katie, what do you think?
I'm excited. I love Daisy's entire arc through the whole show. I mean, she just gets more interesting the more she becomes a superhero. Every time I get excited when she uses her powers. So I'm really excited to see her be that, like, finally be superhero. Um, I, I would love more interconnectivity to the movies. I am worried because they dropped Inhumans. A little disappointed. But yeah, I'm excited for next season.
Yeah, I am as well. I also would very much like, if we're going to have spin-off shows from S.H.I.E.L.D., to have a Glenn Talbot, Phil Coulson buddy cop kind of procedural show. He really just Talbot is the character that makes it for me. Adrian Pasdar did a wonderful job this season. I'm so happy. But like, I've really been happy with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, I think, ended strong, and that's what's important. Thank you all for joining me in the Non-Pro TV Party Hangout review. We'll do more of these. If you like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't, we will find out where you live and hurt you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Wow. Yeah,
Bye.
we're gonna go the hardcore on this one.